Hello, friends. In the heart of New York City stood a 7-story mansion unlike any other. Its entrance was decorated with dozens of artificial eyes, staring blankly at anyone who walked in. In the center of the hall hung a strange sculpture, a bride suspended from a rope. In one office, a taxidermy tiger sat frozen in place. On a shelf nearby rested a first edition of Lolita, the infamous novel about the exploitation of a young girl. This was not a movie set. This was the home of Jeffrey Epstein. The most powerful people in the world had visited this house. They sat in its rooms, shared meals, laughed together unaware or perhaps unconcerned that hidden cameras were recording everything. Cameras were placed in bedrooms. Cameras were positioned above beds. Cameras were everywhere. Photographs displayed inside showed Epstein standing beside global leaders and billionaires. Pope John Paul II, Elon Musk, Fidel Castro, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and Mohammed bin Salman. Nearby hung a $1 bill signed by Bill Gates. Yet behind this glittering display of influence lay a horrifying truth. Jeffrey Epstein operated a trafficking network that targeted hundreds of minors and women. For years, he built a web of power that stretched across continents. His private island became the center of one of the biggest scandals in American history. Then, on January 30th, 2026, the world was shaken once again. The U.S. Justice Department released more than 3 million pages of documents under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, including over 180,000 photographs and 2,000 videos. Investigations began in at least 10 countries. Presidents, prime ministers, princes, billionaires' new names surfaced, and disturbing testimonies emerged. How did one man gain so much influence? Jeffrey Epstein was once a college dropout who briefly taught mathematics. Yet somehow, he rose to become a financial advisor to billionaires, traveled in private jets, and lived in one of Manhattan's largest private residences.
The answer begins with Leslie Wexner, the retail magnate behind companies like Victoria's Secret and Bath & Body Works. In the 1980s, Wexner hired Epstein as his financial advisor. Their relationship grew so close that Wexner granted Epstein power of attorney and extraordinary level of trust. Wexner later transferred his 40-room Manhattan mansion on East 71st Street to Epstein. Official transfer price $0. Years later, Wexner would claim Epstein misappropriated vast sums of money. Yet for years, no legal action was taken. Epstein had wealth. He had property. He had access. But what made him truly powerful may have been information. A victim testified that in his Manhattan mansion, there was a media room, walls lined with monitors showing live feeds from hidden cameras placed throughout the house, bedrooms, bathrooms, private spaces. When law enforcement raided his properties in Florida and Manhattan, they reportedly discovered hidden cameras and locked CDs stored in a safe. Each disc was labeled with 2 names, one allegedly belonging to a minor, the other to a powerful individual. Some believe this was Epstein's real currency. Secrets, recorded evidence, blackmail material. For years, influential figures denied ever visiting his island. Public statements were made distancing themselves from him. But as new documents surfaced, testimonies contradicted earlier denials. Allegations and investigations expanded, pulling in more high-profile names and raising more unanswered questions. Epstein's story appears built on 2 pillars: access and information. Those with connections gained power. Those without them remained outside the circle. Today, the tools of influence may have changed. Technology and artificial intelligence now shape global power in new ways. But the fundamental lesson remains the same. Knowledge and who controls it determines who holds influence. The Epstein scandal is not just about one man. It is about systems of power, secrecy, and accountability. It is about how influence can shield wrongdoing until, eventually, the truth forces its way into the light. And when it does, the world watches.